Hello everyone, welcome back to CNA, the daily newspaper analysis. Today, the date is 18th of November. These are my working experiences, you may go through it. If you want to download today's PDF, then you can join our WhatsApp group or our Telegram channel. I'd also like to inform about our IGP program, Interview Guidance Program, which is going on full swing and it is completely free. So please let your dear ones know about it. This is the content space and these are the topics that we will be discussing today. So starting with the first topic, crowdfunding for terrorism financing, says FATF. So it's a part of the internet security. So why was it in the news? Because recently FATF, Financial Action Task Force, has released a report titled Crowdfunding for Terrorism Financing. So this is very, very important for your prelims point of view. So ultimately, it highlights that violent extremist organizations have employed well-structured networks for fundraising purposes. Also, the report makes a reference to the Popular Front of India as having resorted to solicitation for funds at mosques and public places, which were ultimately used to procure arms and ammunition and for training the cadres. So, what do you mean by crowdfunding? So, crowdfunding is a popular online fundraising method used for various purposes, including supporting charitable causes, funding startups, and financing creative projects. The misuse of humanitarian, charitable, and non-profit causes can lead to terrorism fundraising. So, the thing is that FATF কৈছে about the PFI as well. PFI কি হয়? Popular Front of India, তাৰ যেটো predecessor আছিলে, that was National Development Front. So PFI, it is ultimately a Islamic political organization since 2006. So it was formed in 2006. তাৰ আগতে হতক আমি National Development Front বুলি কৈছিলো. Now 2006 ৰ পৰা 2022 লৈকে হতে ভালকে ফাইনেন্স ভালকে হতে হেৰি কৰি আছে ফাংশনিং কৰি আছে but after that what happened is 5 years ৰ কাৰণে ban কৰি দিছে হতক because they were found to have links with Al-Qaeda, Taliban, etc. So that's why PFI completely এটা বন্ধ হৈ আছে, okay, for the time period of 5 years. Now crowdfunding হৈছে that সৰু সৰুকে সবৰে পৰা অলপ অলপকে পইচা যোগাৰ কৰে, okay, সবৰে পৰা অলপ অলপ পইচা collect কৰে, solicitate কৰে, and then again they are used in a different purpose. So misuse kora jai and particularly terrorism sector ot hebilak poisa supply kora jai. So that's what it's been talking about. So here highlights of the report jodi ami saw that the PFI utilized religious venues and digital methods, okay, religious venues and digital methods for donations involving both domestic and foreign transactions as well, making investigation challenging due to the multi-dimensional nature of the financial flows. So apart from that, the report also highlights that funds raised through crowdfunding can be used for terrorist financing, with some of the collected funds being invested in businesses and real estate projects aiming to generate regular income for terrorist activities. So jikhini paisa hihote collect kore he fund kini hihote directly for training or for buying illegal arms and all hebilakot directly spend nokore. Sometimes they spend it by in buying the real estates and all, okay. So he real estates or pora hote continuous eta regular income eta pai thakibo pare jate neki he hisabe hotor strategy bahut belag ase, okay. Now despite most crowdfunding activities being legitimate, terrorist organizations like ISIL, okay, which means the Islamic State of Iraq and the Lebanon, and Al-Qaeda have exploited these platforms, okay. Apart from that, recommendations jodi ami sao tetia hole kene dhoronor recommendation ase that the FATF report underscores the need for global AML CFT regulations, highlighting a lack of systematic risk assessment in many countries regarding crowdfunding activities, resulting in inadequate misuse of data. The FATF also emphasizes the cross-border nature of crowdfunding campaigns and their financial transfers, urging countries to acknowledge that their jurisdiction can still facilitate financial flows. Apart from that, এই যেটো সিচুয়েশন আছে হেতু লগত আমি কেনে ডিল কৰিব পাৰো how to deal with such organizations while preserving the civil liberties and ensuring national security. So first thing is that clear legal eta framework eta lage. That is the first and foremost things which should be based on constitutional principles, international human rights standards, and due processes as well. And also judiciary হিসাবে যদি আমি চাও judicial oversight হিসাবে যদি আমি চাও তেতিয়াহলে the judiciary can also assess government actions definitely and protect individual rights while preserving civil liberties. So judicial touch এটা definitely needed হয়. Transparency and accountability হেতুটো থাকিবই লাগিব আজিৰ তাৰিখত transparency and accountability is very very important. Targeted actions is also important. So যাতে নেকি মানে এনেকুৱা এটা কথা হৈ যায় that so that minimum okay minimum approach eta ba minimum impact eta poa jay to the innocent members and supporters, right? So jetia niki eta crime or against to joa jay bahut kira innocent manu bilako hiyote stakeholders bilak jikhini thake hiyote bahute innocent thake, right? But ultimately they also become a part or victim hoi jay, right? So targeted actions are very very important. Intelligence and surveillance at this today's world is again very very important. Public awareness is extremely important. So public ok jagrito koribo lage about this kind of activities. So this kind of activities can lead to very very drastic outcomes. So public awareness is very very important. All right, so that was the news. Question diya ase, please go through it. The second news of the day is CITES standing committee meeting. Okay, 77th meeting our whole CITES. So CITES or full form apnaloge hokole jane sage is the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. Okay, so why it was in the news? Because the recently concluded 77th meeting of the Standing Committee of the Convention, okay, of the CITES in Geneva in Switzerland, okay, brought promising developments for India's wildlife conservation efforts. So ultimately at a meeting at a whole, it was the 77th meeting for CITES. Okay, so tate ki koa gol aru India karone ki hisabe koa goise, India ki hisabe mention kora goise, we will look into it. Okay, the first thing is that India has been removed from the review of significant trade, RST বুলি কয়. So review of significant trade process for red sanders, a tree species endemic to the Andhra Pradesh, due to compliance and robust reporting. Okay, so কোৱা গৈছে that আমি red sanders যেটো issue আছিলে তাৰ যেটো illegal trade চলি আছিলে হেতুৰ ওপৰত আমি ভালেখিনি এতিয়া কাম কৰিলো আৰু আমি ভালেখিনি progress কৰিছো. So in a way we can say that CITES se amar India appreciate korise. Okay, India is যেটো আমাৰ compliance আমি কৰি আছো যি হিচাপে আমি reporting কৰি আছো হেতু হিতে বহুতখিনি appreciate কৰিছে. Okay, a red sander কথা যদি আমি চাও তেতিয়া হলে it is very very important because it holds a very high market value. Okay, it have definitely faced threats. Okay, threats paise from illegal harvesting and smuggling. Okay, and apart from that jodi ami sao India's category in the CITES national legislation program has been placed in category 1 as it has fully complied with the requirements of the CITES national legislation program. Okay, so amar India falor pra ami jikhini amar legislation program rakhisu he legislation program to yote category 1 ot rakhise. Okay, so what is category 1, category 2, category 3? Let's have a look here. So category 1 ki hoy legislation generally meeting CITES implementation requirements. Category 2 legislation generally not meeting all CITES implementation requirements. Our category 3 ki hobo legislation generally not meeting any CITES. Okay, anybody likha nai but I hope you get it, any CITES implementation requirements. Okay, so these are the three categories. Our tare bhitor India progress bhal thakar karone amar India যেটো legislation program ase national legislation program ase etut amar category 1 ot rakha goise. Okay, apart from that the call for big cat conservation eta ahise, call for big cat. So India sabogole India has called for strict conservation measures for big cats and I hope apnaloke hokole jane what are the big cats. Okay, do one thing. If you know about the big cats, then just write it down that others commented down in the comment box that the International Big Cats Alliance যেটো হয় তাতে এশিয়াৰ কেইটা countries আছে. Okay, so IBCA, International Big Cats Alliance, sate ACR keita countries ase, please let me know. Okay, so call for big cat conservation. Now, India has called for strict conservation measures for big cats, okay, particularly the Asian big cats, and urged other range countries and stakeholders to join the IBCA, which was launched by the Indian Prime Minister in April 2023. So about sites. So apnaloge already aji tarikholeke sites by being an aspirant. I hope you know about sites. Okay. So sites or kotha yate ketaman likha ase. Please go through it once. Okay. So that is the thing. So ultimately we have been praised. Okay. So here goes a PYQ, previous year question. The third topic of the day, frequent earthquake in Iceland. Okay. Frequent earthquake in Iceland. So Iceland has thousands of earthquakes rock Iceland, a volcanic eruption to follow, question mark. Okay, so there goes the habit. So let's have a look at it. Why was it in the news? So Iceland আমি সকলোৱে জানো যে তাতে volcanic activities ইত্যাদি হৈয়ে থাকে. Okay, volcanic activities, earthquakes তাতে বহুতকে হৈ থাকে. Well, there is some reason, and one of the reason is what? Because এই যেটো Iceland জাগাটো হয়, it falls, okay, or it lies in the mid-Atlantic ridge or the mid-Atlantic belt. Okay, so hey belt যেটো কথা কৈছো hey beltত আপোনালোকৰ বহুতখিনি আমি তেনেকা tectonic activities বা volcanic activities আমি দেখা পাই থাকোগে. Okay, so Iceland, why was it in the news? Because Iceland has declared a state of emergency, okay, following a series of 800 earthquakes in the southwestern Reykjanes Peninsula. So particularly this area. Okay, I hope you're looking here. So picture to Silava. So that peninsula, okay, that particular peninsula is known as Reykjanes Peninsula. Okay, so আমাৰ যেটো আইসল্যান্ডৰ যেটো গভর্নমেন্ট আছে হিহতে কি কৰিছে স্টেট অফ ইমার্জেন্সি ডিক্লেয়ার কৰি দিছে within 14 hours. Okay, with over 24,000 seismic events since late October. So কোৱা গৈছে that অক্টোবৰৰ পৰা 24,000 কে বেছি, okay, earthquake আমি report কৰা গৈছে, and এদিনত more than 1,400 by approximately 1,400 earthquakes report কৰা গৈছে. Then that is very, very big, right? Too much numbers. Then Iceland যদি আমি চাওঁ, it is located on the mid-Atlantic ridge. Okay, it is very, very prone to frequent earthquakes. Okay, it is very, very prone to earthquake or volcanic activities with an annual average of around 26,000 believers. So that much. The region's geological setting makes it a hotspot for seismic activity, with earthquake swarms characterized by numerous small earthquakes without a discernible main shock, raising concerns about an impending volcanic eruption. These swarms indicate heightened tectonic stress in the specific areas. So yate ki koa goise that earthquake swarms or dore aha boli koa goise. So ei horu horu ke je kini bahut kini earthquake ahile hetuk sometimes earthquake swarm boli kore. Now eta earthquake ahile ki hoy that particularly eta earthquake ahile eta force shock thake. Okay, prothomot eta force shock thake, তাৰ পাছত এটা মেইন শক থাকে, তাৰ পিছত এটা মেইন শক থাকে, ওকে, দেন লাষ্টত এটা আফটাৰ শক থাকে, ঠিক আছে। সো ইউজুয়ালি আমি জেনাৰেলি চালে আৰ্থকুৱেক এটা তেনেকাকে আহে, বাট যেতিয়া নেকি আমি কওঁ about the earthquake swarms, তাতে কি নাথাকিব, তাতে মেইন শক নাথাকে। ওকে, there is no phenomena of main shock, তাতে অকল সৰু 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 সৰুকে আমাৰ swarm হিচাপে বুলি কওঁ আমি, সৰু সৰু সৰুকে earthquakes বিলাক আহি থাকিব, shocks বিলাক আহি থাকিব, আৰু গোটেই কেইটা shocks যদি আমি চাওঁ similar intensity হ'ব। Okay, similar intensity, similar magnitude or হ'ব, so সেইখিনিকে আমি earthquake swarms বুলি কওঁ। So বহুত কেইটা earthquake swarms আমাৰ আইচলেণ্ডত আহি আছিলে, so that is why it was in the news. So apart from that, how are earthquake swarms a sign of volcanic activity? Yet I mentioned kora ase about the magma formation and movement, the volcanic eruptions. Okay, earthquake swarms as indicators ki hisabe hobo pare, proximity to eruption ki hisabe hobo pare. These are all being written over here. Okay, please go through it once. It is very, very understandable. Okay, so here again we have some questions. Moving on to the fourth topic, proposed India-UK free trade agreement. So finally, আমাৰ ইণ্ডিয়া আৰু ইউকেৰ মাজতো FTA কৰা free trade agreement এটা কৰাৰ কথা ওলাইছিলে. So particularly the EAM, the External Affairs Minister, okay, the External Affairs Minister have discussed the India-UK free trade agreement with Britain's Prime Minister and Foreign Secretary amid increased bilateral trade between the two countries up to 20.36 billion. Okay, so agone 21-22 17.5 billion asile kintu etia increase হৈ পেলাই 20.36 billion লকে গুছি গৈছে গতিকে it is a very good time for both the countries to have a FTA. Now let's have a look at the benefits from India-UK FTA. So first thing is the merchandise trade. So merchandise trade like medicines, so diamonds, so machines, so সিহঁতৰ যিখিনি tax and all সেইখিনিত এটা upliftment হ'ব পাৰে বা reduction হ'ব পাৰে. Services ক্ষেত্ৰত যদি আমি চাওঁ তেতিয়াহ'লে ইণ্ডিয়াৰ পৰা UK বা UKৰ পৰা ইণ্ডিয়ালৈকে বহুত মানুহ ভিসা ইত্যাদি লৈ পেলাই ইয়াতে অহা যোৱা কৰি থাকে. So সিহঁতৰ কাৰণেও কিবা ৰিলেক্সেশ্যন হ'ব. Rules of origin. Okay, the rules of origin যদি আমি চাওঁ তেতিয়াহ'লে it is very very important because India's যেটো আমাৰ ইণ্ডিয়াৰ যেটো conservative rules আছে. Okay, India's conservative rules of origin may lead to extended discussions and negotiations in the future as well. Okay, now apart from that, government procurement. So চাব গলে আমাৰ UKৰ যিখিনি producers কেটা আছে সিহঁতে compete কৰিব পাৰে with the Indian firms, okay, in the UK's government procurement sector. But Indian firms face a competitive and restricted market. Okay, so India needs to be cautious and make domestic rules before taking commitments under the FTAs. Okay, avoiding onerous obligations or non-trade issues like labor standards and digital trade. So next যদি আমি চাওঁ, moving on, significance, benefits খিনি আমি চালো আৰু significance কেটাও যদি আমি থুলমুলকে চাওঁ তেতিয়াহ'লে India UK যেটো FTA আছে, it will serve as a template, okay, for the European Union agreement, okay, breaking from the look east policy. Okay, so look east policy পৰা অলপমান ইণ্ডিয়া কি হৈছে act east policy লৈকে গৈছিলে আৰু এটা westৰ ফালেও আমাৰ relations ভাল কৰি গৈ আছে. India is focusing on economic integration with Western and African nations as well to boost export growth, breaking from deficits with Japan, South Korea, and Asia. So India's labor intensive sectors যেটা আমাৰ যিখিনি আছে সেইকেটা কথা যদি আমি চাওঁ, that includes the apparel and gems and jewelry. Okay, apparel, gems, jewelry সেইবোৰ আছে. Okay, now these have seen a decline in the market share over the past 5 years. Apart from that, the textile exports in India also face tariffs as high as 10% in the UK, which could be revived through a trade deal. The average tariff on goods imported from India into the UK is 4.2%, while the average tariff in India is 14.6%. Okay, chalo. So India's export to jodi ami sao, challenges kini jodi ami sao amar jitu trade ase, challenges kini jodi ami sao tetia hole one of the important challenges that India's export growth is not guaranteed by eliminating duty, as evidenced by the past deals with Japan and Asian countries. So akol ekhini duty ase, jekhini tariff ase, jekhini tax ase hekhini eliminate khali kori dile nohobo. Okay, so ekhini eliminate kora pisoto bohuto challenges thaki jay. Okay, because we have already seen it in the past itself. Okay, and also the British Parliament warns, okay, the British Parliament warns that granting zero duty access to Indian textiles under the FTA could stress the least developed countries like Bangladesh. Okay, so যদি FTA আমাৰ যদি ইণ্ডিয়া আৰু ইউকেৰ মাজত FTA ফ্ৰী হৈ যায় তেতিয়াহ'লে বাংলাদেশ যোনটো নেকি টেক্সটাইল ইণ্ডাষ্ট্ৰীত এটা বহুত ভাল এটা পজিচনত আছে সিহঁতৰ কাৰণে এইটো প্ৰব্লেম হৈ যাব, ৰাইট, এণ্ড সিহঁতে চাব গ'লে সিহঁতৰ যিটো GDP আছে নহ'ল তাতে সিহঁতৰ টেক্সটাইল ইণ্ডাষ্ট্ৰী এটা ভাল এটা কন্ট্ৰিবিউচন আছে, ৰাইট. চ' আমাৰ যদি ইণ্ডিয়া আৰু ইউকেৰ মাজত যদি এটা ফ্ৰী FTA বনি যায় তেতিয়া বাংলাদেশ নিচিনা কাণ্ট্ৰিৰ কাৰণে অলপ প্ৰব্লেমেটিক হ'ব পাৰে, সিহঁতৰ মাৰ্কেটৰ শ্বেয়াৰ এটা কমি যাব পাৰে, ৰাইট. চ' India could eliminate non-tariff barriers in negotiations, particularly for agriculture exports. The UK is also considering a carbon tax. Okay, the UK is also considering a carbon tax on metal imports based on carbon emissions, obviously, okay, potentially impacting again the India's exports. Okay, so carbon tax or eta issue eta ase, hetu eta challenge hoy. So etia FTA through ami he challenges bilak deal koribo paro ne nwaro, we will just have to wait and watch. Again, question eta dia ase eta mains or karone eta prelims or karone. So lastly, our prelims fact is our first to the National Epilepsy Day. So just remember, this is National Epilepsy Day, not International Epilepsy Day, because the International Epilepsy Day is celebrated on the second Monday of February. Okay, but our National Epilepsy Day it is on 17th of November. Okay, so epilepsy kotha eta duta kotha likha ase, tare bhitor kisiman important points bilag ase, like around 50 million people provide worldwide are affected by epilepsy. Okay, and in India jodi ami sao approximately 10 to 20%. Okay, so bahut dangor fact eta hoy, right? So apnaloge sabo direct question ahibo pare that National Epilepsy Day kun tarikhot celebrate kora jay. Okay, next number hoy gol the sickle cell disease. Okay, sickle cell disease. So sickle cell disease, this is very important. Okay, so sickle cell disease ki hoy that amar jekini cells ase, cells keta main sabo gole eta circle ba eta tanika eta shape thake. Okay, semicircle ba circle kind of eta shape thake, but jeta niki sickle hoy jay tete hiote narrow hoy jay. Okay, so that is known as the sickle cell disease. Okay, and thalassemia. Now this is related to hemoglobin. Now thalassemia boli ami ketia ko jetia niki our body to jeta niki enough hemoglobin produce koribo noare, that kind of condition is known as thalassemia. Okay, sickle cell disease ki hobo that amar he jekini hemoglobin ase, he hemoglobin khini alopman flawed hoy jay, alopman hihote beya hoy jay, aru beya hoy jor karone ki hote he red blood cell or keta shape keta jeketa ase, shape keta ki hoy jay eta sickle shape hoy jay. Okay, or also we can say eta crescent shape hoy jay boli ami koribo paro. So ultimately hemoglobin or jetu role ase jate niki amak blood or right, blood or delivery sorry blood or through amar oxygen or delivery kori thake, so heitut amar problem. Okay, so oxygen jodi ami na pa amar problem hoboy, or oxygen amak diye kone we get it with the help of hemoglobin, right, jote amak deliver kore. So amar oxygen ami pabole digdar hobo, and ultimately people are going getting sick. But no worries, because UK ultimately, okay, UK ultimately ki korise, UK's drug regulator has approved the world's first gene therapy treatment for sickle cell disease and thalassemia as well. Then again, another prelude fact is the cyclone Midili. Okay, so this is again very important. So cyclone Midili, already active hoy ase, etiao soli ase, aru news already ahi ase. So it have developed in the northwest Bay of Bengal. So Bangopasagarot hoise, causing heavy rainfall in the coastal regions of Odisha, West Bengal, Tripura, and Mizoram. The IMD reports that the cyclone is confined to the area between 30° north and 30° south latitudes. Okay, but their speed to the towards that is about 40 km/h to 70 km/h. Okay, our cyclones are kotha to ami bhalke jano, because these cyclones develop during pre-monsoon and post-monsoon period. So now our post-monsoon period soli ase, so now we are back here with the cyclone Midili. Okay, I'd also like to inform you that if you want to know about the names, okay, amari cyclones bilakor naam june naam bilak kenekake pore, then you can just visit here. Yate mark kori thoa ase, you can just click here, tate eta apnalokor eta ulabo. So there's a reel that will help you to explain to know how nomenclature amar hoy cyclones bilakor. Okay, so that was the last prelim fact. This is our academic team. This is our content developing and technical team. That's it for today. Thank you.